Hey, what is up, gamers? Squirrely here. Thank you for joining me as always. It's a pleasure to have you here because this is going to be a different type of video. This is an idea I've had for a very, very long time, and I keep thinking of different topics and things to bring up that revolve around it, and I'm just like, I just got to start. I just got to put the first video out there and just get it going. But this is going to be the first of a series. I'm not sure how fast I'm going to release them, but I'm going to start off soft and kind of nice, nothing too controversial or dramatic. But we're talking about stopwatch and the stopwatch in casual. So I have my opinion. I'm going to go through here. I want to see if you guys can change my mind. Prove your case down in the comments, whether you like it, you don't like it, whether you wish it would come back or would stay out of casual. But I'm going to give you my case, the pros and the cons, do the best I can, and let's see if you can change my mind. So if you've never played TF2 competitively in any format, any shape or form, you might not even know what I'm talking about. So if you watch a competitive stream, you'll notice that they play a little bit differently, especially under Highlander. They have a stopwatch, and the TF2 casual actually did have a stopwatch. It wasn't too long ago. They added it to casual, which was very controversial at the time. I remember at first being like, what? There's a stopwatch in casual? This feels kind of weird. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. Eventually, Valve took it out, and now we have our classic regular casual mode with a timer. So regular timer is different than a stopwatch. As of now, the regular timer is you have to capture points just to keep getting time. Now, both teams just get to play as much time as they can add. So if you push in the cart, you're capturing control points, whatever it may be, you're constantly getting time added. And then when you run out, it's just over. And at the end of the screen, it's just, here you go. One side maybe captured 2 points. Maybe one team went all the way and captured 5 points. It doesn't really matter. It's just giving you more time to play the game. That's how it is as of right now. But a stopwatch is different. Stopwatch is different in the fact that it's all about doing things faster. So if you can beat the enemy team, if you can capture points faster than them, as soon as you beat them, it's over. It's done. The game ends. The map's done. So say, for example, you're on offense and you can't even capture the first point. You really, really struggle. Then the sides flip. The enemy team now just has to capture the first point. And that's it. The game's over. It stops. There's no more. You don't get to play the rest of the points or the rest of the map. As soon as you captured one more point than the enemy team, it's over. That's it. On the same thing is if you capture multiple points, you have to capture the same amount of points faster or just capture one extra point. So a lot of times what you would see in casuals, people were taken off by this. There's a lot of new players, didn't know what was going on, and it was just kind of confusing for a while. Definitely made for some more intense gameplay sometimes, and I'm going to get into that, the pros and the cons, but all you need to know for a stopwatch is you have to beat the enemy team's time on capturing points or capture one extra point. Otherwise, the game just ends right there. It's a done deal. Depending on what you like to get out of TF2, kind of what experience you're looking for in casual, there's all across the board. It's very different for casual, as you can tell. I'm sure you've had some games that are very balanced and competitive, and both teams are, communicating over the mic, and maybe there's some lobbies in there, and people are switching classes and helping each other, and it's a lot of fun. And then you get the other games where it's like half your team's trolling or AFK, you have so many new players, you have 5 snipers, no one's doing anything, no one plays medic, no one goes engineer, it's just suffering the whole time through. So people liked having a stopwatch because it kind of promoted more teamwork and more competitive environment, and a lot of people who have a lot of experience in TF2, or they like to play competitive, or they want to play a little more competitive than just a regular casual, which is just pure chaos, they liked it because it promoted, focusing on the objective and going for the objective and communicating more, and the timer puts some a little bit more pressure and intense battles, so it just promotes a more competitive environment. And there is a movement out there of people who want casual to be a little bit more like competitive. Another reason is it actually kind of helped with games that are extremely lopsided and unbalanced. So if one team is steamrolling, the game's over quickly. It doesn't get dragged out over and over and over. But a lot of people liked it. If it's not going to be a balanced game, it's not fun. Just get it over with. Let's get the new game going and kind of go from there. A lot of people also, like I said, it just gave you a competitive vibe. So it created these really intense battles where there's always a stopwatch. You have to be constantly moving the cart or controlling the next area, trying to capture points, and everything's around moving quickly. There's also no confusion about who won. I know some people in the chat will try to talk about, hey, we captured one more point than you, or we captured this third point faster than you, and most people are like, who cares? It's casual. But some people do care, so there's no confusion on who won at the end of the game, and it definitely just lays it out there. It just puts you in a different mindset when you have to do things quickly and you're competing against the enemy team on the clock. I'm sure there's lots of other theories or arguments you guys have heard of why to add Stopwatch back to casual, or why it should have never left in the first place. Another one just off the top of my head is XP. So as of right now, you can get a bunch of XP just for being in the game for a long time, or maybe get auto balance to the winning team at the end. But the games are longer, you get more XP just in general just for being in the game and playing, and it's a little bit cheap in their opinion. And so if they were to add the stopwatch back, you really have to earn your XP points, every little point of XP. You have to battle it out and earn it and beat the enemy team and keep the game going. So that to me doesn't really make any difference. XP and casual doesn't mean anything. It's a new thing. Never had it for a long time. It's just a way, I think, to keep people interested and excited to play casual and kind of rank up their badge, even though that doesn't mean anything either. But we're going to get into my portion now, where I think you guys need to change my mind. I have the opinion and the belief that keep Stopwatch out of casual. It has no place in casual whatsoever. Now, at the very end, I'm going to give you some examples of things I think we could do to kind of meet in the middle and get the best of both worlds. But I'm going to talk about why I think Stopwatch needs to stay out of casual, a bunch of different reasons. Same thing, I'm sure you could add your own reasons as well. But I've thought about it for a long time. I've definitely argued both sides and thought about the pros and the cons. And I think it's important, though, whenever you're a player, we're coming from the experience, the position of you are a player. You are a gamer in this game, in this virtual world. So your opinion is going to be biased on different things. The classes you play, the maps you enjoy, the friends you play with, your experiences day to day in and out of playing your favorite game, whatever mode it may be. Maybe it's even MVM or trading or just casual or competitive. Whatever it is, you have to just understand that you have a little bit of a biased opinion because we're all humans and it's impossible to be perfectly unbiased. But what I try to do is be as objective as possible, zoom out, look at it from a business perspective, from a new person's perspective, a really, really highly experienced perspective, traders, and like just everyone, try to keep them in mind and do what you think is best for everyone in the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things for Valve and TF2 and population and just in general. So in my opinion, keep Stopwatch out of casual at all costs. Casual needs to stay casual. It's been this way forever. It doesn't need to change. Now, there may be different ways how you queue for casual, and there's lobbies and stuff, but casual itself has always been and should always remain just an open playground for fun and freedom. This is where most of us learn how to play TF2, where we made friends, we found our favorite maps, and sometimes you have 5 spies, and sometimes you get auto balance, and sometimes you get random crit. It's just a big sandbox to play. It doesn't need this extra pressure of forcing people to, okay, you better capture this point in this amount of time, otherwise the game's over. The whole goal of casual and the whole goal of a video game is to be playing the game, to actually be in there and be playing. The point is not to be constantly in queued. If you want to play competitive and you want that extra, no random crits and certain maps and certain classes and other limitations, and you don't want there to be a regular timer, you want a stopwatch, you want that pressure and kind of that forced objective of more teamwork, there's a competitive mode. Now, I understand the competitive mode is pretty much dead. It's been full of cheaters and no one queues for it, but that doesn't mean you gotta push it into casual. Leave it completely separate. Casual, I queue for casual all the time, and you get a wide array of players. There's a lot of very, very experienced, highly competitive, semi-pro or what if you call TF2 pro players that jump in casual all the time, and they play like we play. They just mess around. They off class. They're doing goofy stuff. They're just playing to play, to kill time while they're waiting for their scrim or their match. And if you do want to get that competitive experience, like I said in that teamwork, there is competitive. There are leagues, there are teams, there's a whole world out there of competitive, their own thing going on. I enjoy watching competitive a lot. I have a lot of friends that used to play competitive in TF2 and Counter-Strike and Quake and a bunch of other games, and I enjoy it. I highly respect it. It's definitely a large skill gap to go from competitive to casual, but I think there's a place and time for that, and it's not in casual. So that's kind of my overall general picture, is just, keep casual, to be open and free and do whatever you want, and don't put limitations on people and force players to play certain ways, otherwise they get punished and the map ends and now you're in another queue and people are leaving, because there are so many wild cards and there's so many different factors in casual. Talking about random crits, people are getting auto balance, people are leaving randomly, you got brand new players who just installed, have no idea what's going on, you have one team with a lobby running 3 pocket medics, you have another, there's just so many weird factors. You might have 4 snipers, there might be players who've never played the map before, so all these just wacky, crazy things are going on that makes casual unbalanced, which is kind of part of the fun. And then you're going to put something on like a stopwatch timer, meaning you have to be super coordinated and organized, and otherwise you get punished and the map's over, now you're stuck in a queue again and you got to change. So sometimes in casual, the most popular maps are the silliest maps. Think about it. The most popular maps in TF2 is like 2-Fort, High Tower, maps that people just don't really take seriously because there's no timer, or it's extremely long timer. But definitely 2-Fort, High Tower, Turbine. People love these maps because you can just get on, play, do whatever you want to do, and jump off. And that's got to say something for the community. If the silliest, goofiest maps are some of the most popular maps in the whole game, it's kind of telling you something. 5CP is not the most popular mode. Competitive TF2 doesn't have 100,000 players in it. It's a very, very small community, although it's growing and I want it to still grow. It's definitely not as big as casual, nowhere near. Casual still makes up a vast, vast majority of the TF2 player community. other things you have to take into consideration when you're talking about casuals, if you're going to put a stopwatch in there or a timer, you have to understand that there are so many wildcard factors, like I was saying, is that it's also just unfun for so many other players. So if you want to be in there and be the 5th spy, or you want to go in there and be battle medic, or if you want to be the 3rd huntsman sniper, like whatever, that's kind of your place to do that and mess around. And if you're not having fun, you change servers. You just leave. That's the beauty of casual. You have unlimited freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want. If you join a server, you really want to play sniper, you already have 4 of them on your team, disconnect and join a new server. Like, it's not a big deal. If you join a game and no one's playing medic and you're not going to capture the first point, just switch servers. It's like the whole point is just to play and keep going. And we actually see this in payload now, where a lot of times I'll just let the enemy team capture the first point, or in a dust bowl or whatever, because I want to keep playing. And I'll even say on the mic to my teammates, like, hey, can we let them cap so we can keep playing? Or, I will just off class or goof around or run meme loadouts or whatever, just because it's no fun to stomp players and then end the map, and then now you got to re-queue again and, vote, and half the people rage quit. So it's just not fun. Just do whatever it takes to keep the game going. I think a stopwatch in theory is one of those things that it makes great sense on paper. It looks good in theory, and it has, it comes from a good place. This will promote teamwork and more competitive nature, and it's going to be easier for people to translate from competitive to casual, and it's going to teach newer players how to yada yada yada, all that stuff. Yeah, in a bigger picture, looking at it just on paper, yeah, it makes sense. But in reality, it doesn't work at all, and there's a reason why they added it, and they very, very quickly took it out, because most people didn't like it. It wasn't fun for either team. Like, it was very rarely that you get 2 very, very balanced games, competitive games, and you duke it out. Now, there were a couple games that I thought were actually pretty balanced, and they were very fun, but you still get those intense moments and gameplays with the timer on Koth and attack and defend and holding last on payload. You still kind of get that. The only thing you're missing is the timer, because unfortunately, if there's a stopwatch, a lot of times, a huge majority of the time, you don't even get past the first point. Maybe you get to the second point, you don't even get to experience the rest of the map. It's just lame. The winning team is bummed out. It's like, please capture the point, let's keep playing. And the winning team is like, okay, we have to run 3 medics now and a bunch of heavies and spam short circuit and vaccine, or otherwise we're not going to capture the point. So it makes you do things you don't want to do. You can't be yourself. You can't play the way you want to play. And like I said, casual should just be open, free, place free. Just do whatever you want, explore whatever you want. If you want to play high tower and goof around, if you want to play 24/7 Dust Bowl NG, if you want to run pocket medics with a bunch of your friends and play like just 1 or 2 maps forever, that's what you can do. That's the beauty of casual. Most of the players playing TF2 are playing it casually. If you want a competitive game, there's competitive. If you want to join maybe 24/7 maps or have little communities or more competitive games, there's a ton of community servers. And there's a reason why community servers also, almost none of them use the stopwatch, because it's just not fun in the bigger picture for everybody. So play more, less time in queues, less time waiting. There's going to be so many wildcard factors that it's not really going to do what you think it's going to do in the long run. Maybe 1 out of 10 times it's going to be perfectly fair and run the course and you're going to enjoy it. But most of the time, it just doesn't work out. I mean, if you think about a game of casual 12v12 or whatever it is, there's so many people randomly disconnecting, getting auto-balanced. One team has like 4 medics, and the next round there's no medics. Like, there's so many crazy things going on that it just has no place in casual whatsoever. If you want to play competitive or you want to play the stopwatch and play that way, then there's ways to do it. Just keep it out of casual. And I'm saying this because I'm sticking up for the little guy. I'm sticking up for the newer players, the players who want to goof around, the players who want to play their favorite maps over and over and over and over, the people who only want to play Spy and Sniper for their whole lives, for the brand new player, XX Jose Fernandez, 2009 XX. I'm sticking up for him. He doesn't need this extra pressure, trying to put competitive and put a stopwatch on his favorite map and his favorite game mode. Just let him play. Let him have fun. So now that you guys can see my strong opinion, how I'm completely against having a stopwatch, and a lot of people think adding a stopwatch is kind of this elitist thing for people who want to be competitive all the time and they never want to lose, and they want to make sure the enemy team knows that they won. What's going to happen is people are just going to leave early, they're going to rage quit, the teams are going to be auto-balanced all the time, and it's just going to be a mess, because that's what it was when it came out. It was a complete mess. But anyways, I think we can meet halfway, and it's not very hard to do. Definitely what would be super easy to do is let the game run its course, have the regular timer like we have now, whether you get half of the points or all the points, whatever. But on the end screen, just show the time, maybe the total time it took, or the times for the enemy team of how far they got. Maybe they got 2 control points in 9 minutes. Just show the other team and how far they got in 9 minutes, so you can kind of see who won, or maybe show all the control point times, whatever. Valve can figure it out, but just so that everyone is happy. They get to play the whole map, they get to play as long as they can, but they still can see how fast who they were, and that will still teach newer players, oh, there's a timer, and if you capture faster, it'll show that you won. You still get the best of both worlds, in my opinion. Another thing they could do, though, be super easy, and a lot of community servers do this, which I think is great, is that you just show the scores, the top 3 of the losing team. So that way it doesn't feel like there's no point. I mean, it's kind of frustrating in games when you're playing super well and you're carrying your team and you're having a lot of fun. You got like 9 dominations, you're on a 40 kill streak, you die to one random crit, your team loses instantly, and then you get no credit. No one can see, how many points you got. Now, part of that's ego, and it's just kind of funny, but I think this is also good for newer players because they could see, okay, we're getting stomped and we're losing, but I still want to play my best and contribute and do well and get points and do whatever because I'm going to get credit. I'm going to show up on the leaderboard. I'm going to pop up on the top 3. Or even if for newer players who don't know if they're doing well, they will never find out because people don't hit tab and look at all the stats. They just say, oh, we won or lost, and they just move to the next map. Like, a lot of people don't actually care or look at it, so giving some people some credit. All it is when the game's over, the winning team shows first, and then it just flips over for a couple seconds and shows the losing team. Or maybe it shows them side by side, whatever. But I think it'd be good to give some credit to the losing team. It would kind of promote you to try a little bit harder, because if you're getting steamrolled, you're losing, at least you're going to want to play better to, give yourself some credit at the end. So those are 2 things I think they could do. Super easy, and it would make casual a lot more fun, and we still get to compromise and meet in the middle. You still get to see your stopwatch, and you still get to see your scores, even if you got steamrolled and you lost. Alright, well, hopefully I made my case and maybe I changed your mind on the whole stopwatch situation. If you haven't thought about it deeply, maybe I changed your mind, but I try to be as objective as possible. I am totally open to change my mind back if you guys can, give a good case, but I'm trying to just zoom out, be objective, think about the TF2 community as a bigger whole for all the different factors and people involved and, different experiences people have with casual, but I think keep it out of casual. If you want your stopwatch, there's other ways to get it, but maybe we can meet in the middle with some of those options I had. But let me know what you guys think down below. Maybe you can change my mind now. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me as always. This is YouTube. You know how to show your support. We are climbing that subscriber mountain. Things are going well. I hope to see you in game if you're playing casual on the West Coast, United States. And I'm going to post my Steam group down below so you guys never miss a new video, because I want to have a lot more going for this series. If you have some ideas for next videos, post them down below in the comments and I'll take a look, because I have some waiting to go. I have a list, but if you have any other cool controversial items and ideas for TF2, maybe I can change your mind, or maybe you can change mine. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me as always. Have a great one. Hope to see you soon. And until the next video, peace.
Thank God they opened that door.